Hello guys, and welcome to the first video in this series of building a simple 2D platformer game. This video is mostly focused on building the tile maps and setting up the background and foreground of our levels. Feel free to make whatever level you want, and you don't have to follow the one I make in this tutorial. Thank you for following along through this tutorial, and I hope you see you in the next tutorial in this lesson where we make the player to jump around on this level that we created. Alright, so when you load up the Unity editor, you'll come across the screen something like this. In this video, we're just going to be focused on tile maps, so what we're going to do first is right-click on the hierarchy, create a 2D object, tile map, and then a rectangular tile map. It's going to give us the tile map game object and the grid game object. We can keep the names the same, and it's going to give us like this grid here. When you're on the tile map, you'll see this grid. You can just move around, and you see this goes on forever. This is where you can put all of your tiles that you can have. We don't have any tiles yet, so we're going to import some. So what you can do is you can go to the Unity Asset Store, which on Google is assetstore.unity.com, and then you'll come across to a screen like this. We're going to go into the 2D section in the Asset Store, and we'll come to all of these 2D assets. What we're going to want to do is go to Pricing, and then we're going to click Free Assets. So this is just all of the free assets you can buy for free to use in your games. And we're going to click on Pixel Adventure 1. This is going to be the assets that we are going to use for our game. So what you'll do is once this loads, you click Add to My Assets, and then it will come across to a sign-in screen, and then once you click through the sign-up screen, it will have a little button that says Open in Unity. You can click that button, and then it will give you a pop-up. You can click Open in the Unity editor, and then you can go back to the Unity editor, and then once it compiles in the package manager, you will get this screen. It's going to ask you if you'd like to import this asset. You can click Import, and then it will import all of the assets from Pixel Adventure 1. It might take a while because there are a lot of assets, and we won't be using them all, but we'll be using most of them. In this video though, we're going to use the tiles so we can create a tile map and a background and just a simple level to make our player run around in the next video. So once these assets are fully downloaded, you'll come across to another pop-up like this, and this is just asking what you would like to import, which is everything. So you can just check everything and then click Import. It will import all of those assets, and we will get a folder down in the project folder in the pop-up in the project, so we can see all of these assets that we have. And then we'll click out of the package manager, and then we will create a tile palette to put on our tile map. Alright, so once everything is loaded, you can click out of the package manager, and then you'll see in the project folder we have another folder called Pixel Adventure 1. If we zoom in a bit, we can see Assets and Scenes. We'll go into Assets, and we'll have Background, Items, Main Characters, Other, Terrain, and Traps. If we go to Background, you see that we have all of these background tiles that we can choose for our background. If we go into the Terrain folder, you see that we have all of these terrain tiles that we'll use. So what we can do is we can go into Window, we can go into 2D, and then we can get the Tile Palette window. I have the Tile Palette window right here, but we can make it bigger right here. And then it says right here, create a new palette in the drop down above. What we're going to do is put our background tiles on this tile palette so we can draw with those tiles on our tile map in the hierarchy. So what we'll do is we'll go to this, which says No Valid Palette, click the drop down, and click Create New Palette. We'll name this Background Palette because this will have all of our background tiles on it, and click Create, and then it will ask us where we want to keep this, and we can just put it in the background folder, with all of these background tiles. And then it says drag tile, sprite, or sprite texture assets here. We can take all of these assets, blue, brown, gray, green, pink, purple, and yellow, and we can drag them all into the tile palette. Then it will ask us where we want to keep these. We can put these in the background again because these are all the background tiles. And then you'll see that we have all of these tiles right here. If we just move this tile palette right next to the hierarchy, we can go to here, and then we have all these tiles. But right now, it won't be the same because when we try to draw with this tile, let's say, it doesn't fill the whole Unity square. So we have to change the pixels per unit. So if we go back and we see all of these, or if we just go to these, the original tiles, not the tiles that we put on. If we go to these and it says pixels per unit, we're going to change this to 64. That means there's going to be 64 of these pixels per Unity square. If we click apply, and then once it compiles, we try to draw again, and you can see that all of these are the same. They're one tile big. So to draw, we're going to go to this brush tool right here. It says paint with an active brush, and the key is B. And then you can take whatever color you'd like. I'm going to choose brown, and you can just drag and do this. This is mostly just for tiles that you want to put in a specific spot, not like a big box like that. So to make a big box, we'll use this box tool right here. Paint a filled box with active brush, and the key is U. So if we go into this, we can zoom pretty far out. If we zoom pretty far out from here, we can make this brown tile everywhere. If we click and then hold, it will just create a box from wherever we started clicking to our endpoint. So all of that is now the brown tile. It picks the color that you'll draw with. So since we only have one right here, we're not drawing with anything, but we'll pick this, and now we are drawing with this. So this basically just picks, so you don't have to go all the way back to here and pick the new color that you'd like. This is the eraser tool. It erases whatever is in your tile map. And then this is the fill tool. You see, it will fill just with the green, since I'm on green. If I want to keep it to orange, fill with orange. But instead of doing this, let's make just one big background for a whole entire level. You can choose whatever color you'd like, but I'm going to choose brown. So I'm going to go all the way out here, so there's a big level. We don't have to make our level this big, but this is just so that we have all of this space to make our level in if we choose to. And then we will go back into our hierarchy. We can take the main camera and we can move it all the way to the edge of this level so that the player will be on the edge of the level, and then he'll move this way. You can see in the main camera down here in this little preview that the background is moving, so when the player moves, the camera will follow him, and it won't go out into this blue out there. It'll just go to there. You can go back to the tile palette, and then we're going to create a new palette. We're going to create a new palette. We're going to name this Terrain Palette, because this is going to be the terrain, not just the background. So what we'll do is it'll ask us where we want to save this. We can just click select folder, put it in the background folder, and what we'll do is we'll go to terrain. It has these two things right here. We'll take the second one because this is sliced. It has all of the tiles. The first one is just a picture of the tile map. The second one is sliced, so we can pick and choose what tile we would like. So what we'll do is we will drag these into here, and then they'll ask us where we want to save these. We can just save them in the terrain folder because these are the terrain tiles. And then what we'll do is we will change the pixels per unit size of these terrain tiles. We're going to change them from 100 to 16 because these terrain tiles were drawn smaller than the background tiles, so we'll be able to. So the terrain tiles will be also one Unity unit as the background is. So once this finally compiles, we'll be able to see all of the tiles that we'll be able to draw with inside of the palette, and then we can just create a little level for the player to run around in the next video where we create the player. So now you can see that all of these tiles are now imported, and we can see that we can pick any of these tiles that we want. But what we want to do right now is go back into this file, click the terrain, and then change the pixels per unit to 16. That means each of these things will be one Unity unit large, so that we can draw with them to make our own little level. Now they're much bigger, so if we zoom out again, and we can move just like this, zoom out, and then if we use the brush tool, click on this, zoom all the way in to where the camera is, we can just draw like this. If we click on this side, we can draw right here. If we click on this, we can draw right here. What you can also do is you can drag like these two tiles, and then we will paint with these two tiles. So you can paint like this, but that looks silly right now because we don't really want to paint with that. But if we're just making something that's just 2 blocks tall, you can just do that. We'll do the end tile for this, and we see we have a little platform. This could be the start platform where the player starts. And we can, maybe if we drag all of this, we'll just create another little platform, make it like up, so the player can jump on there. What we'll do now, maybe, is that we'll zoom over here, and we see this little platform. If we zoom out, we can go into that. But as you can see, that it's taking away the background tiles right now. We don't actually want that, so what we can do instead is we can take all of them out, and then we can also just take these little tiles out, and you see that's deleting the background tiles too, just because this was just a little tutorial. So what we'll go instead of the terrain palette, we'll go to the background palette, choose our color, and just refill this back in. Then we'll go back into the hierarchy. This tile map has all of the background tiles on it. So maybe instead of tile map, we'll name it background tile map, just so we know what this tile map has on it. And then inside of the grid, let's right click, create a 2D objects tile map, and then another rectangular one. We can name this terrain tile map. So instead of drawing in the tile palette on this tile map, let's draw on the terrain tile map. We can go to the terrain palette, and then we can go back here, and then you see if we draw something that's just a half a block large, it will still be rendered on top of the background, just so it's not taking up the same tile as the background. So let's say we want this, right? That's where our player will start. And then we'll just make this for the player to jump onto here, maybe another one right here. And then what we'll do is maybe we want to create a long platform. So we can take these three, put them right here, take these three, put them right here too, and then take these three, go to this box tool, go to the top of here, and zoom all the way down to the bottom, and you see it just creates all of that, and that's just one long platform for the player to run around and jump on. Maybe I want some of these silver tiles, so we can put some of these silver tiles right here, so that it has variety in our level. And maybe even more variety, I can do some of this pink grass kind of terrain as a little bit of this. Maybe I want to create a really small platform, so I can just do that by just picking and choosing the tiles that I want and placing them directly onto the tile map, just like that. And then these tile maps are put in such a way that, like this right here, that is exactly what it shows right here, but you can make a platform like this, and then like this, so the player can run on that, and then you can just put these two tiles on the top. These tile maps are made in such a way so that you can, whatever tile you have, you can use it with the other tiles. So like this is a corner tile, this is a corner tile, this is a corner tile, and this is a corner tile. This is a middle tile because it has nothing around it, and then these are edge tiles, right? They're edges but not corners. That's the same with this. These four are all edges, and you can see that there's a little bit in them. But if you want to do the edge right here, then you could just add other ones to here to make it like a square. But maybe instead you would like just a line. So they have these tile maps, these tiles too. You could just take these, and that's vertical, and then here's just one. These are all just made in a way so you can create whatever level you would like with the tiles that we have. So maybe for the end I'll create just one more little platform right here. So that'll be the ending platform where we'll put the checkpoint or something. So the player will start out on this little platform, jump to here, run across to there, jump across those new tiles, and then get to the end. I have a finished level, but you can create whatever level you want, and you don't have to follow along with this little level I've created right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to want to go in the hierarchy, and then you see that if we click out of everything on the hierarchy, nothing is highlighted. If we click on the background tile map, we get the grid again, and then the background tile map is highlighted. If we click on the terrain tile map, the terrain is highlighted, but not the background. What we're going to want to do on the terrain is we're going to want to add a tilemap collider 2D. We're going to want to do this so that the player can collide on these tiles and walk around them instead of just falling through them. He'll want to fall through the background tiles, so to say, so he doesn't collide with them, and they can be in the background and just not in the player's way. So the tilemap collider 2D, we're also going to want to add a composite collider 2D, and you see that also adds a rigid body 2D. You can change the gravity scale to 0, just so it doesn't fall down. And then the composite collider 2D is right here. And then in the tilemap collider 2D, there's a little check that says used by composite. If we click this check, instead of every single tile being having a collider around it, just all of these, this has a collider around it. If you look really closely, you can see the green line, but you can see it better if we turn off the tilemap renderer. And then for the background tilemap, we can turn off